here with a brand new Stir the Pod podcast show. I'm your host, Trevor, and tonight we are joined by Andy. Andy, how you doing tonight?
Hey, Trev, I'm great.
God, it sounds like you're doing great.
Yeah.
And we're also joined by Alex. Alex, how you doing tonight?
Yo.
And we are here with the episode 10 recap show. And we got a Hall Brawl tonight. I mean, I thought my initial thoughts for the episode, was kind of solid. Ryan McCord's doing well. Great to hear from one of our AWLs out there. Nice guys. I feel like the chat, we got some good vibes going tonight already. I feel like this could be a very solid podcast. I know some of you guys were down on us last week. Kind of a sucky episode. This episode I thought was pretty solid. The sevens of the world, 7.1s. The Hall Brawl saved it, even though the performance in the Hall Brawl was horrible. And I feel like, you thought it was good?
I don't know if I could say horrible. Maybe half of it was horrible. We'll get into that, but I don't know if you could say it was horrible. I think that's a discredit to someone.
Okay, Amber B's performance was very strong. I'll give you that. I was more upset, too. We could have had Darrell versus Corey tonight.
Ooh.
That's what I was more upset about. A Darrell versus Corey matchup would have been great.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's how the fate happens, and, we just got to live with it. So, God, chat is popping tonight. Jesse Adams in the house.
Challenger.
God. So, Alex, initial thoughts from you.
My initial thoughts on the episode, I liked it a lot. I really did. I about 30 minutes in, I was thinking – the first 30 minutes were not that entertaining. They weren't that good. It was very slow. And my first thought was like, we're in store for another episode 9. Like, 'cause episode 9 just wasn't that good. So I thought we were just going to have another one of those. But then, man, I just think the last hour really picked it up. I think the challenge itself was good. Elimination, Hall Brawl. I think a lot of different people were involved. And we finally got to see, like, people wanting to go in. We saw some dissension, like not knowing if it was a guy or girl's day and all that. But I would say overall, very, very good episode. I was impressed with it.
Andy, what was your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the same. I think it's kind of one of those things where when you have an episode like last week where it's so bad, where they could have done anything this week and it would have been good. I think the beginning was a little slow, but it did enough to at least keep you locked in. And my biggest judge of how an episode is with like an hour to go, like, am I looking at my phone to check the time? Because if I'm looking at my phone to check the time, that means I just want this shit to get wrapped up. I didn't have that at all. I was locked in. It could have gone on for another hour. Like, once we got done with the challenge or gotten close to the elimination, I would have been fine with it. So I was very impressed. Very good episode.
Yeah, I see a couple people in the comments, 7.3 from Jesse Adams. What would the penalty have been if Devin and Gabby didn't agree on the same vote? I don't know. I would say they both go down, just the classic, TJ's like, all right, you guys can't agree, just go down. But that's not what Devin wanted. So I don't know.
But that would be the classic TJ answer, is he would say, you guys figure it out or you're coming down here. Like, exactly. Regardless of what Gabby's vote is. Because that happened. When did that? Was that last year, 2 seasons ago, where they were voting for 2 opposite teams? They couldn't figure it out, and TJ said, "All right, you're coming down."
Yeah.
Do you remember who that was?
Yeah, that was Zach and Amanda.
Yeah, that's right.
And the thing is, what made that scenario different from tonight was the fact that back then you wanted to stay out at all costs, whereas this time it was the differing opinions came from one person, Gabby, wanting to go into elimination. So yeah, I think, I don't know if that would have changed what the penalty was, but again, and we'll get into this later, I feel like Gabby had nothing to lose by saying she wanted to go in, because if the penalty was, you guys have to go in, that's what she wanted anyway. So that makes it a little different than what Zach and Amanda had, what their outcome was, but definitely the same thing in terms of a team wanting to do 2 different things.
Could not agree more. I would have done, and we'll get into it, but like the whole Gabby aspect, like, why would you not go in? You had the weakest girl in the house in something physical. Like, all you got to do is just run. And I mean, obviously we'll get into her performance, but like, That's all you had to do. This was the easiest W, I think, all season you could have had.
I disagree. I think my biggest cowardly move, who did Fezzi refuse to do pole wrestle against?
That was
Jonathan.
Jacob?
Yeah.
I mean, no, I don't think anything could top that, truthfully.
Trev, so what were your overall thoughts on quality of the episode?
I said I think I gave it a 7-1, 7-2, the Worlds. I thought it was an all right episode. Got something physical that I like in the elimination. I just thought the lasting thing in my mouth, no homo, was literally the what was it called? Was the Darrell versus Corey. We could have had that. This was a perfect time to just be like, here's a twist we can do. And this was the whole scenario we talked about where both of them don't have schools, correct? Yeah. So what would have happened? That if I'm Gabby and I'm thinking of those situations in my head, that's what I think of. And there's like, oh, this has to be a girls' elimination.
So did that aspect of it make it to you kind of an underwhelming episode?
Well, that obviously they walk in, you see the hall brawl, and you're excited. And I thought, even still, I thought to myself, the going into voting and stuff, I thought anybody could have gone in. I did not expect 12 votes for the one team.
Agreed.
So that kind of shocked me. Time
out, Trev. Should we just start with we kind of started with overall, but now we're kind of all over the place. Should we just start at the beginning? Because
it's not like us to
I've
get
got some
rails.
thoughts on what you were getting into too, but I think we got some good overall thoughts. We all agree it was a good episode, some good highlights here and there, but should we just start at the beginning? I
think that's how normally we start. So
yeah. Okay. We all agree episode is good. The chat is absolutely popping.
Yep.
Let's circle back to the beginning of the episode. Because there were a few things before the challenge started. And they all kind of led into what the episode played out to be. The three things that I wrote down were Fessy and Gabby, Fessy just having no game in that little bunk bed scene. I'll go through all of them, then we can pick what we want to talk about. So that was one of the things. And then Devin basically telling CT, because Devin has a skull, if CT wants it, and this is before he even won the challenge, but if Devin wins and CT wants it, he'll send him in. And then lastly, Lolo and Nam, which obviously bled into the rest of the episode. But what kind of stuck out to you guys before the challenge? Because I feel like we had a good amount of people talking. Like we said, it kind of moved a little slow. And I think that was just because they were building up for what happened in the last half of the episode. But what did you guys think of anything before the challenge?
I thought the whole Gabby and Fezzi situation was hilarious. I mean, his game is horrible. It's so funny. And Justin, welcome to the chat, said it's cringy. And it is. It's so cringy. I don't know if he just got that from, the good old University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, but seriously, the dude has no game. It's just so cringe. I don't know. I just find it hilarious.
And you can tell his whole shtick when it comes to picking up girls is to try to come off as this cocky asshole who's got a soft interior. No, he's an asshole on the inside too, because he was going to his confessionals being like, "Oh yeah, I got this. He's a piece of shit, but you can tell that's his little shtick.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how many girls he'd use that on when he was out at the University of Tennessee. Chattanooga.
There it is. All right.
And I think one of his pickup lines that he did with Gabby, a rookie, was something to the effect of, "Do you remember what I did last season? Do you remember what I did last season when I was on the challenge?" She has no clue. She's in the UK. She doesn't watch the show.
God. Mikey the Doctor wrote. Wait, Mikey the Doctor wrote. Mikey the Doctor talked about. What's it called? Do you think he said Division I football at University of Tennessee? 100%. 100%. He probably tells everybody that. He probably says he's the quarterback there.
Well, I don't think he would lie about it. I think he was probably like, I was a tight end at the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, and I played there for a few years. I think he said it. He just made it and incorporated that into the rest of his stupid pickup lines.
Agreed. It's kind of like lying
on
on your resume. Like as long as you lie just a little bit, but there's some truth. Like, did he play football in Tennessee? Yes. Was it at Chattanooga? Yes, but you just leave that part out.
The other thing I want to bring up that kind of leads into the Lolo Nam situation. What do you think is more cringier? The whole Fezzi spitting game with a girl, or the every single time we get confessional, we hear Lolo Jones is an athlete? What do you think is worse?
I think cringy, I got to go Fezzi. Like, Lolo just annoys me. It just pisses me off. Like, yeah, we get it. You're an Olympian. That's awesome. Fezzi's, like, actually cringe. Like, you can't watch it.
Yeah, I agree. But in a way, I don't know. Like, there's something just about the fact that when it's Fessy, it's him trying to attract other females on the show. Whereas Lolo, it's all, I mean, we'll get into this later, but, like, she's just nuts. Like, she's very, like, low self-awareness, just kind of a nutty person, very intense. And so, like, when she's talking about being an athlete and everything, it's like, that's it. And there's nothing to really be entertained about. Whereas at least when Fessy's kind of, going for the Gabbies of the world, like, it's just like, come on, man. Like, you're better than this.
It seems like the chat is against you guys. A lot of people are saying Lolo. So
there's no wrong answer here, by the way.
Yeah.
There's no wrong answer here. I do have another opening thought, though.
Blow me.
About the opening, Casey and Leroy first in the door. Was I the only one who picked up on that?
I saw it. Mark it up.
Mark it up.
Another one.
Who won? Oh, it was Casey. Okay.
God.
I thought you were saying
that bad?
I thought you were saying the streak was broken because I just couldn't remember who won it last episode.
God. Yes. God. I'm just dying at the chat right now. Wes good at swimming. I mean, come on. I mean, Mikey the doctor. I do think they
is Devin good at puzzles?
Yeah. They literally hype that shit up, and it's hilarious. It's so funny. Actually, one kind of a side note. Who do you think, because I see people writing about it, who do you guys think is the most, I guess, the cringiest person of all time to be on the show? Cringe and Natalie's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's a very good one.
Who else?
I think Paulie is super cringe for me.
I was thinking that too.
He's awful.
Paulie's a good pick.
I think recent times Cara is up there, but Cara back in the day was actually kind of normal. So I don't know if I could throw her in there, but Paulie sucks.
I think Paulie hurts too, is because I saw that video of him dancing to Bruno Mars, and every time I think of, have you seen that?
Oh, at the reunion?
I think it's his Twitter, like.
Wait, not the one at the reunion.
Oh, that too. When Vegas looks at him, he's just like, "Oh, what the fuck is that?" Yeah, that was bad. Let's see who people are saying. Paulie's a good one.
I would say recent times Josh, but he's almost like just too funny to laugh at to be that cringe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see what else we got. What else happened this?
What else did you rattle off there?
We talked about Lolo and Nam. Let's get into them. Lolo kind of just. I love how Lolo's like, Nam, it's all your fault. You suck. You're the worst. Takes no blame, no nothing. She brings up the whole coach in life and situation. That might have been later on, but like this team is just. I thought they were going to be good, and they just completely are like a 180 for me. So, Andy, what did you think?
I mean, I would not be upset if we never said the words Lolo or Nam on Stir the Pod ever again. They are awful. I couldn't stand any bit of what we had to go through today. It was just like, what are we doing here? This is just the classic, like, two rookies, the game's getting to them. They're super, like, competitive, obviously, like, massive people, but my God, this game's not just muscles. Ask Rogan's freshman year or rookie season.
Low key, that duo too, kind of bringing it in. Josh and Rogan, kind of cringy too.
Oh yeah.
I don't hate Rogan.
God.
I don't like Josh, and I don't like those two together. But I don't mind Rogan solo.
Boogie Brown writes, Nam is soft. What do you think about that?
I don't necessarily disagree.
I mean,
I don't know if I fully agree because I feel like we haven't seen him go toe-to-toe with someone, but I also definitely don't disagree.
absolutely.
Can we also acknowledge one of the facts that Lolo continues to harp on the fact that they don't have good communication, but Nam's first language isn't English? Are we just going to look over that? No shit, you don't have good communication. Bear with him. Be a little accepting of the fact that you have to have ongoing conversations. And let's not overlook the fact that this challenge team can't figure it out, but Lolo's talking about them having a relationship outside of the challenge. This wasn't just I don't think we can get through this challenge together. It's, I don't want to see you after this. Okay, come on.
Lolo cried about needing a coach. It's the challenge. Could not agree more. I mean, what's next, Andy? We talked about people going home early a few weeks ago for whatever problems, for a wife was pregnant and other things. I mean, what's gonna happen next season, Andy? Are we gonna have our team's gonna be in 3 where you just get a personal coach?
I mean, I think you have to. I think you got to bring in. It'll kind of end up being The Biggest Loser, where you have one person who's in charge of everyone and keeps them stable and keeps their mental health aligned. And I'm all for mental health. That's a big buzzword with everything going on now. Mental health and the challenge are antonyms, not synonyms. That's where people come to get thrown to the wolves. So, and I think I will say, Lolo clearly, I think, hit a tipping point tonight. Good for her for making it 10 episodes in. I will say that. Because she got some exposure on Champs versus Pros or Stars or whatever, which stupid runoff or spinoff they had. But a lot of rookies don't make it this far, and if they do, it's just a nightmare throughout it. So, I mean, maybe good for her. If they get new partners, maybe we'll see some change.
Nice guy 101. We can't see your comments from Periscope, so keep it hitting us up. Anything else from that, Alex? I mean, you've been awfully quiet tonight.
No. My final comments on the whole Lolo Nam thing before we get into the challenge would just be completely agree with what we've all said. I think it's if you think back to before Champs versus Pros, before they brought on Lolo and really started diving into a lot of these people, if you were to think of bringing on an Olympian athlete, especially someone who is a track star and bobsled and all that, in a sport where it's very much conditioning, taking care of your body, she is a very just robotic person. She's very intense. She's very this is what we need to do. This is how you do it. When things go wrong, she can't handle it. She's not great on emotional control. And that's what you would expect to see is what we see from Lolo. And it is what it is. She's the only really Olympian that we've had on a real season like this. So it's good entertainment. I think tonight it kind of ran its course.
Yeah, I could not agree more. I think the robot comment was spot on.
And I kind of feel the thing is, I kind of feel that's how Olympians train. They are trained to be robotic. They are trained to, this is the goal, accomplish it. The challenge goal is to win it. You can't just win a challenge. And you sure as shit can't just do it based on physical attributes. It is a game. It is way more mental than physical. And I like the idea of bringing on Olympian, but I would much rather see them pull. God, I would say see them pull from other shows or other competitions. One of my favorite newcomers has been Bear, and obviously Bear's in some hot water these days. But if you recruit someone based on what they do from a non-competitive perspective, it'll be entertaining. And guess what? A lot of them can compete, and a lot of them are in good shape. So, like, if you bring in, and like, it's same with Ninja. What show did Ninja come from? Was it
Ninja Warrior?
Was it Ninja Warrior?
I have no idea.
Like, yeah, you bring someone on from Ninja Warrior. Sure, they're going to be a good competitor, but they're not going to make for good TV.
Oh.
Ninja should not have been on the challenge. Don't at me. She should not have been on the challenge.
I mean, yeah.
Bad for TV. Bad for TV.
Horrible for TV. I do want to bring up, or Alex, you have some breaking news?
No. I was just gonna say the last Stir the Pod tweet. We got a like from a friend of the program, Marie.
Oh, good podcast with her. You guys should definitely listen to that when we had her on. Really good listen.
Marie's a great example of what we were just talking about. Really good TV, shitty competitor.
Absolutely. God. One of the comments I did see before we get into the challenge, they talked about why do we hate Fezzi so much? I think we could go on for days. I think we kind of think he's like this big bad dude. He portrays himself as this big bad dude, and he's not. I mean, I don't know. Like the first episode, I mean, when he could have went in, got his skull, didn't, piss me off. The whole, I don't know. There's just so much with him. Andy, you take it away because he just pisses me off.
I mean, plain and simple. The guy thinks he's the shit, and this is his second season.
Yeah.
You got to earn your stripes, buddy. And you got to earn I mean, somehow Jordan was telling Johnny Bananas that Johnny needed to earn his stripes, and he had been on for like 10 seasons. So, like, for Fezzi to just come in here and act like he's a big bad wolf and not really prove much, in my mind, Fezzi has not proved to me that he backs up all the shit that he walks around. Now, granted, he seems to be like 6'5" and like 220. He seems like a very physical beast. But get over yourself, dude.
And last thing about him, he tries to portray himself now as this villain, and he's not. It just does not fit him well at all. But
he's kind of like Paulie, plus a foot, plus 30 pounds.
God, the Keebler's elf?
Maybe 2 feet.
God. All right, so the challenge now. Let's get right to the actual challenge. I know we've kind of been all over the place tonight. But the challenge, what did you guys think of it? Was this the first puzzle in like how long?
Hold on. Boogie brings up a great point about Fezzi, and some people like Justin Mealing just says because Fezzi fucking sucks. Honestly, that's the right answer. But Boogie brings up a great point. Corey and Kyle beat him in a final. So all right, enough of Fezzi. He's the woke. Sorry,
wait. We need Andy versus Fezzi in a hall brawl. Book it now.
Low man wins.
Andy would break his rib. He was getting murdered.
Fezzi, I know.
No, God.
All right. All right. Thoughts on the challenge? I would say overall, I was a fan of this. It wasn't anything special. I liked the fact that it was like a little bit mental with the puzzle aspect, and we'll get into that. But like you had to. I like that there was some sort of strategy, and you find the pieces, and whether you tell another team or not that you found it, and all of that, and all that. So I would say overall a good challenge. Nothing great, but again, like I feel like challenges in general these days, just kind of quality is just down a little bit. But I would say it was fine.
What I want to bring up, basically all I have to say is how I felt was what that challenger wrote. Was it even a puzzle? He literally had the answer key. like I felt like the whole setup was just so like weird for this. Like I'm fine with the digging and stuff like that, but I would have liked it better if it was like I'm trying to think of how they put like the capitals for the one, like they gave him a list of countries and they didn't just give him the answers. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if they gave him like, let's say, like Indiana or whatever, what's the state capital of that? And, basically you just move on. So there would be thinking involved, not just, okay, this is the piece. That's it. So I don't know. That's how I felt about it. Andy, or anybody else, what do you guys got?
I thought so. I thought they tried to do a bit of showing alliances and like showing the fact that if you find someone else's puzzle piece, you can like yell at them, "Hey, you over here, you over here." That was like an interesting twist. It obviously didn't end up mattering a whole lot because Devin had no one helping him, and him and Gabby ended up winning. Again, and we talk about this, it seems like almost every episode. This wasn't really a puzzle. It was just match what is right in front of your face. But when the average IQ is like 16, that is a puzzle. So like, even though Devin was fighting against everyone else, once he got his 10 puzzle pieces, and Josh, who had probably had their 10 for 5 minutes, was still just babbling around like an idiot, no doubt in my mind he was going to win because Devin's the only one who's just like somewhat smart. And I say somewhat because like, again, and we've talked about this multiple times, if you do one puzzle, you're the puzzle champ. And this wasn't even a puzzle, but people are probably like, oh my gosh, like we do not want to see Devin in a puzzle.
Very, very Sarah Rice-esque in the puzzles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jasmine and John A.
I don't, yeah, it's definitely not like what like the normal person would classify as a puzzle. It's almost just like, is part of the challenge something where you have to use your brain for it? Because this one, it was not a puzzle. It was grab these things, a physical, like run down and pick them up, carry it back, and then use your eyes to look at something and then match the pieces that you just picked up to it.
Absolutely.
This struck me as something Bananas or Wes would just smoke. Absolutely dominate.
Agreed.
Because all it takes is a little bit of thinking.
So the one question I have just in terms of how the challenge, like what the challenge was and everything, was like in that little sand pit where they were digging for the pieces and everything. Like how could you come across somebody else's piece? And so I was thinking about it. Each team had 10 pieces. There was 9 teams. So in that field there were 90 pieces buried. Were there like poles to say like dig here? Because like just seeing some of the aerial shots, it was almost like it was too big to just dig anywhere. Because then you'd be digging for like hours and you would never find pieces. So I was thinking that maybe they had like flags saying like this is a piece in this area.
That's what it was.
Not going to say
there were
that's
poles.
So the poles are where the pieces were.
Yes.
Every single pole had a piece.
Yeah, wasn't there 100 poles?
I don't know.
No idea.
I saw poles. I didn't know if that necessarily signaled where they
there was, I think, 100 poles. And then you basically, your torches, maybe that was the word. Thank you, that challenger. And you just dig in that spot, and that's where one of them were. Yeah.
And so your pieces.
It's not like they were like, oh, here's 100 pieces in this, 100 yards by 100 yards spot. Find him. No,
but it also
had 100 torches lined up.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, because it wouldn't make sense to like have one team's pieces the entire column, because then you're always going to find your own pieces. So Absolutely. It's just here's where all the pieces are buried. Figure it out. Mm-hmm. Find yours.
Yeah. But I thought it was interesting. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan when they give the answers away like that. It lose a little lust. You know what I'm saying? Like I want it to be exciting, but can we talk about how Josh didn't win? Like that's embarrassing. Like they had the answer sheet. Are
you surprised?
No. Here's the thing. They found all the pieces first, which good for them. Whatever. They literally had everything. All you had to do was walk 100 meters and be like, okay, this is how it's lined up. You had it felt like a 5-minute head start, and they couldn't figure it out. I literally tweeted, if they would have won that challenge, we would have skipped this entire segment right now talking about the challenge, because I was so pissed. I was like, this sucks. How are they doing so well? But how?
Trev, I think you're forgetting something. He's an idiot.
God. Well, yes, I know that, but Nani's a person too.
And she's an idiot.
God, give her some respect.
Yeah, because she's won a lot of challenges. God. And she's only been doing this a couple of years.
God, it's not like she's been on 10 seasons and not won.
CT said it perfectly towards like the beginning of this episode. Yeah, Josh is a non-threat. I mean, this episode proved it. Do you not remember when he tried throwing a ball? I mean, he looked like an absolute moron. The guy's not good at anything. When he got it done first, for not 1 second did I think they were actually going to win this challenge.
So
not
Andy,
at all.
my question to you with Josh, because we all know he's going to go back into an elimination. Who do you want him to go against to lose to?
He's losing to anyone aside maybe Devin in a strictly physical, not athletic, physical challenge.
But who would you want to see?
Anyone else? Maybe Fezzi, because he would walk over him like a doormat. Maybe CT. I mean, but like seriously, think about it. CT, Darrell, Corey, Kyle, Fez, all these guys would just snowplow over him.
God, yeah, we hate Josh, but he is a friend of the program, so we gotta respect it. Alex, where are we?
I mean, the last thing before the challenge was, I think Big CT, that team did the classic, and they made it very obvious with the confessionals.
Wait. Am I reading that right? Sorry,
Yeah.
That last comment. I'd pay money to watch Josh take out Fezzi, though. Come on,
I
stop
would.
it.
Whoa. I would too. If you could tell me that if Josh and Fezzi met in a hall brawl and somehow, some way, Josh won, I would pay a lot of money to see that. Would it happen? No.
We have Josh, who is soft as a baby's butt, versus a University of Tennessee.
No, but that's what I'm saying. If we knew
Chattanooga
that
football
Josh,
player, there's no chance.
but if we could know that that Josh would beat Fezzi, I mean, that's like, yeah, I would pay like $5,000 to see the Colts win the Super Bowl. Is it going to happen? No. But if you tell me that if I paid $5,000 it would happen, I would. I'd pay $100 to see Josh somehow beat Fezzi in a physical elimination. That would be awesome.
Mikey the Doctor wrote, when are you guys inviting Josh back on the pod? On for review. Honestly, dare we? Should we? Would you guys want it? I feel like you guys would make him cry in the chat, and that's what
you guys had him without me.
That is true.
We also had him, though. We also had him on the podcast 2 episodes into his challenge career, and now we're 4 seasons deep. So a lot's changed.
Yeah, we're now 4 seasons deep and 1 elimination win.
Oh God. We were young. We were desperate. What can we say?
We'll get into that. All right. So challenge is over. Devin and Gabby win. I think just because of the fact that it was a quote unquote puzzle, not too surprising. All these people are idiots. So we have Devin and Gabby are the double agents.
Yep,
is what we call them. That obviously plays a big factor in the second half of the episode. Then we get back to the house, and there's a lot of different things that happen here. Basically, they kind of revisit Devin saying if CT wants it and there's nothing else that he wants to do, Devin will pick CT to go in. But then this kind of starts the whole where Gabby wants to go in, and like rightfully so. There's 2 girls' skulls left. There's not a strong competition trying to go in. And Gabby wants to go in, and then the night out in the igloo ends up with Devin having that little anti-Big Brother VIP club.
I mean, here's the thing: Devin is good on TV. Like he plays the part right. I think sometimes he overdoes it, but like I think the best way to describe him, and I think Jesse Adams hit the nail right on the head. I've liked Devin this season. I don't know how you guys feel. He's kind of turned some. I don't know if it's bananas or anything like that.
Let me go this route with you, Trev. I have always been on the record as being a huge Devin hater.
Yes.
He's now one of my favorite people on the show.
Oh, come on.
And I think he's gotten better. Like he's less of just like a true asshole at his core. And now like when he is an asshole, he knows it. And he's kind of poking the bear, and Josh is a big old fuzzy bear. But what I do like about Devin is Devin gives me a feel of how the old school challenge used to be, of like having fun and like shitting on people and pulling pranks and like doing stuff like something as simple as the little Big Brother Haters Club. And that's like with Bananas when he did the pictures of God, who's the chick from the Holy Trinity that Bear was hooking up with? Why can I not think of her name? Kayla. When Bananas was putting pictures of Kayla and her boyfriend aside or on top of the bed when Bear's hooking up with her, like Devin does that kind of stuff that I don't think anyone else does. And we've talked about this before. I think now with Bananas not being on this, Wes not being on it, it's just kind of nostalgia. Like Devin actually kind of gives me hope in the challenge. I never thought I would say that, but he gives me hope that there is still some, you know what, I'm going to be an asshole and have fun doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just going off of that, I would say that, yeah, like you said, there's a few different things that I've also been very anti-Devin just since he's been on the challenge. I almost think I don't think it's a coincidence that the one time he started to become a little more likable this season is the first time he's done a season with both Josh and Fessy. Like, Fessy and Devin have both done a few. This is obviously Fessy's second, but like the fact that, some of the bigger names, Bananas and Wes, aren't on right now, and you pair somebody like Devin with two of the smallest brains in the current, challenge casting pool with Josh and Fessy, like Devin will eat that alive. And that's what he's been doing, and good for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Agreed.
All right, so where were we?
I think that takes us right into the whole Devin versus Josh. And we kind of touched on that a bit, but any other thoughts on that? I mean, we've talked about Josh and Devin both, but any thoughts on that whole engagement throughout the post-challenge?
I don't think so. And I think like I was expecting a little more when like Josh, went to their little club and started chirping and all that. I think one of the things that kind of stuck out to me, especially when, and kind of skipping ahead a little bit, when Devin and Gabby sat in and saw the House votes that ended up being Corey and Amber. It was almost like Devin and Gabby win the challenge, and Devin was like, they played it up huge with like, oh, he's drunk with power and all that. He's messing with all these people. And it was almost like just the fact that he was winning, he expected everybody to just do something without even talking about it. He didn't really have like a plan for what he wanted to use his power for, because the second Corey and Amber got the most votes, he was like, oh, like I wanted a different team to get the House vote. It didn't happen, and now I don't really know what to do. And he said himself he was throwing names at the wall and all of that. So it was almost like Devin and Gabby got power, and he didn't really have a plan about what he wanted to do with it. He just wanted to keep saying that he had the power.
Yeah, I mean, that's just classic him. A little stir in the pot.
So. What about this? So let's talk deliberation real quick. Is that a good transition? What are your thoughts on Lolo's whole speech? Because I've got a few, but I want to get your guys' take.
I mean, we already know where you're going with it, so I feel like for Andy, I agree with what Andy's probably going to say with that being completely bullshit. Why should we feel sorry for her? Like,
I do just want to start because this was definitely something that came to mind during the episode, because I don't know if you guys have been, I don't know if you guys have been made aware of this, but I've seen just through the challenge Twitters, challenge Reddits of the world, and some of the after shows that the challenge has been doing. Basically what I've understood, and the chat can correct me if I'm wrong, is that there's almost been some sort of unaired agreement, I should say. They haven't shown it on the season at all, but this kind of agreement from a lot of the cast, basically from day one, to not vote Lolo in, to not give her the chance to go to a final. I think it was spearheaded mainly, and again, like, I'm surprised they haven't shown any of this in the episodes, but from what I've read, basically from day one, Cam kind of got the whole house to say, we're never going to vote Lolo in because she cannot get a skull. If she wins, so be it. We'll figure that out. But we're not going to vote Lolo in. Keep her out of the game. The rest, the 14 other teams or whatever, we play our own game out, and figure it out. But the plan was from the beginning to keep Lolo out. And I've seen comments about that for a couple weeks. And I think now was the first time we saw like pretty clear evidence of it. Because, Lolo's a nutcase and she didn't really help herself with the way she was crying during her speech. But like you saw, like all of the cast basically just like threw her aside when she wanted to go in.
Yeah.
No shit. Like not to discredit what you were saying, but why in the world would anyone listening to that say, you know what? It's very clear that your team is in shambles. And you and your teammate individually are two of the best competitors out here. We'll throw you a bone. Are you kidding me? Welcome to the challenge. That what she just described to a T was why no one would put you in. Because your team is a mess. Nothing's going to change that. And you're not going to get a gold skull. Like she gets on this little soapbox going on. And the only thing on my mind was like, you are solidifying the fact that no one here should vote for you. Welcome to the challenge. And also, her and Nam win a challenge. How the hell have they not won a challenge yet? Like, because I think we would all probably agree individually, they're some of the best competitors on here, like for the guys and the girls. Win a challenge, get some power. Like, take the game in your own hands. But for her to, like, have this sob story of, well, me and my partner are fighting, but I want my gold skull. Who do you think's going to say, like, you know what? I felt that.
Yeah, I agree.
Skull.
Honestly, I agree 100%. Like, the challenge, like, you need to win. You need to win. This isn't like Make-A-Wish where we just give you a free trip to, get one. And obviously, if they vote her in, she's going to win. Like, we all know that, right? So
yeah. Well, and on top of that, if they vote her in, it gives Devin infinitely more power because he can pretty much choose who he wants out of the game.
Yeah.
Because of that reason. So that was just so stupid.
Yeah, I could not agree more.
All right. So deliberation, that group cast their vote, and the House vote is very decisively Amber, M, and Corey. Devin and Gabby see this, and then this is where it kind of started to build a little bit more in terms of, Devin threw out to Gabby, I think, like 6 different options of like who we should vote for and all that, like, because Gabby clearly still wanted to go in. But I think that was about it. Should we get into the elimination?
Please.
So we go to the elimination. I don't know about you guys, but obviously, the second you see that the hallway in the sand, that's always a good sign. Gets those juices flowing and all that. So let's walk through this. They get to the hall brawl. They reveal that Amber and Corey are going down, and then this is where I think they cut to commercial right before they decide on, or they reveal their votes, right?
Correct.
And then this kind of ties back to what we talked about in the opening. It's just the fact that Devin was at a point where he didn't want to go in. Why risk it? He has a skull. Gabby needs a skull. And they just clearly disagreed. It makes sense that they disagreed. But I just don't get why Gabby didn't say we're voting for ourselves.
I don't know. I think Gabby needed to step up, and she didn't. I think I've seen people say it in the chat earlier, and we kind of hinted at it earlier. This was the time where she should have just volunteered to go in.
Is it safe to say, like, I know this is going to sound like super simplistic, but is it safe to say that what you could boil that all down to is just the fact that Gabby's a rookie? I mean, if Gabby had done 2-3 seasons, she knows in this situation to not let your partner control what's going on. Whereas in her mind, she's like, oh, Devin has a hold of this game. He knows what he's doing, blah, blah, blah. She's clueless.
I just think it's tough. Like you said, she's a rookie. And when you're in that scenario and your partner has a skull, and I mean, we all knew it was going to be a female elimination, but still, you're not 1,000% sure. So I think it's hard for somebody to just, risk it all and tell their partner, we're going to be fine and just go with me here. You know what I'm saying? Especially being a rookie. I mean, it's tough.
Yeah.
But you like Devin should have been smart enough to be like, this is going to be a girls' elimination. Like, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Leroy was in the same scenario with Casey, right? It was even because normally, like next week, for example, should be a guy's elimination because we're a guy down or girl down, excuse me. Correct?
Well, I mean, based on what we saw tonight, I don't know if you'd say that.
What do you mean?
Security breach.
Oh God.
We'll get into that.
What does that even mean?
Well, I think the last time we had security breach was Ashley, right? Coming back.
Yes, that's what TJ said, right?
The problem is they're confusing their own lingo. They've got this whole spy spiel going, and now they're getting trapped. Now they're getting trapped.
I have no idea.
Going back to Devin, though, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's a prime example of Devin being a seasoned vet, knowing that if he can convince a rookie just to believe in him and trust him, that he will end up making her not do what's best for her own game, and that will benefit his game the most.
Yeah, and you can't blame him for that.
Oh, whoa.
Jesse Adams, $5 MSU beats Indiana. As much as I want to take that, I have already lost way too much money on the Hoosiers this year.
God. Security breach is a stolen skull opportunity.
What does that even mean?
I have no idea. That
sounds like it makes sense.
Well, question. What about this? Let me go this route with you. What if two non-school competitors go in, the winner gets to steal one from anyone?
Kind of like
the island? Oh, come on.
I'm just saying. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities.
Mercenaries would be sick. I don't know if I want mercenaries. Could you imagine, like, right now they're just like, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And then you just see Johnny Bananas walking down to the ring right now.
Yeah, but Johnny's not the best. Best hasn't been on in quite some time.
God, watch it with the Kenny time.
All right. So when Devin and Gabby decide to not vote themselves and they pick Amber B and Darrell, Josh threw a classic fit about it, but I didn't quite follow what that was. Like, I know they had talked maybe for 1 or 2 confessionals about why they would throw them in, but it was never like I just didn't follow that at all. Because it would be one thing if it was like they were friends and Devin said, oh, I'm going to vote you guys in so you have a chance to get their skull. But they're not. They're enemies, and they wanted them to be the house vote. So I just didn't follow why Josh was so butthurt about not getting Devin's vote.
I'm going to stop you right there. You can never ask a question that starts with, I don't understand why Josh was so butthurt. Because you could say anything. You'd be, I don't know why Josh is so butthurt, why it's a beautiful day. Well, yeah, because he'll find the one cloud and be like, you know what? Some things in life just aren't perfect. He's just such a pussy. I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised by it at all. I just didn't know if there was some sort of conversation I missed. I get that Nani, because you think about it, Josh already has his skull. Nani doesn't. So she maybe wanted to go down, but like I mean, they were. I feel like this is the third or fourth time where Josh has kind of thrown a fit from like the little standing ground up there, but not surprised at all.
I mean,
that's spot on. I don't. To answer your question, I don't know why he was bitching and moaning about the fact that Devin was trying to call him out and rally the house against him, and then Devin had the chance to put him in himself and didn't capitalize on that. Honestly, I was a bit confused by their pick of Amber and Darrell. Personally, I thought for sure it was going to be Josh and Nani. But, I mean, Josh was just trying to call him out for being a pussy, even though Josh is just like literally the Michelin man. So he's got no room to talk about anything. But what were you guys surprised by the Amber and Darrell pick?
I just don't know who they would have picked.
Josh
like,
and Nani.
There was no, and I don't think they would have picked Josh and Nani because realistically, I don't think they want that team to get another skull. Devin didn't want. Why would Devin want to throw Nani a bull? You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like, I feel like it's so open. Like, obviously, whoever they were going to pick, realistically, was going to be Amber M. Let's be real.
Well, let me ask you this then, because that's a really good point. Why, if that's Devin's logic, and I think that very well could be the case, because I think Amber M was a layup for anyone.
He should have moved it to Lolo. That would have caused so much.
Well, my question is why give a skull to another member of Big Brother Alliance in Amber?
That is true.
Like, if you're doing that, why not do Gabby? Even though you're kind of putting yourself at risk, like if that's Devin's idea and that's his thought process, it does not make sense to put Amber B in because his whole thing was Big Brother, VIP club, they stink, yada, yada. I think that could have been the case, but I'm still very confused.
What if Devin, when they said who they were voting for, what if they were like, you know what, Lolo, if I vote for you, would you switch partners to me?
I ain't mad at that.
I ain't mad at that either.
Especially in front of everybody.
That'd be bonkers.
Lola would jump at it, but Gabby would not. Gabby would have nothing to do with that.
But Devin says give it to Lolo beforehand. But then he would say that to make it, a little more climactic. Yeah. I don't know.
Would have been a good move. That kind of goes back to earlier. Devin's drunk with power, but doesn't know what he wants to do with it.
Yeah.
When they went with Amber and Darrell, that's the feeling I got. He had all this power, but he missed his shot.
What would TJ do if they didn't agree on the choice, Devin and Gabby? We talked about that earlier. I don't know. I mean, if I was Gabby, I would have went against Devin. What's the worst that can happen? They get thrown in. That's what she wants. So I don't know. What do you guys think? And then Andy, what do you think? Or Alex?
I mean, I think if they would have tied, the only other option, I think, aside from TJ saying you guys are coming down, would be to let the house vote or let everybody else cast their vote on who they would want to call in there, or let Amber and Corey decide.
I think that's what it would. I think that would be Plan B. I think Plan A would maybe be bring the double agents down. Plan B, because I don't think they would do a whole blown house vote, but I do think they would say, you know what, if you guys don't pick, we're gonna let them pick.
Mm-hmm. Mikey the doctor did right. I mean, we are pretty stupid. Lolo couldn't have picked Devin if she went in because obviously he was safe. So that's on us. That's on me. But nobody stopped me. I'll be the first to say nobody stopped me.
It was a good idea for a couple minutes.
It sounded good.
Said he would let really good. Corey decide. Yeah.
All right. So what do we think about the elimination itself? I mean, it was a hall brawl with the classic. Oh, this is not the hall brawl. There's gonna be a twist. The twist didn't really do much. Yeah, let's get into the elimination.
I think we should get into the elimination. And personally, God, what is this?
Trev, what did you think about the elimination?
I mean, I love seeing a hall brawl, but when it's like that, I mean, it hurts. It hurts to watch. I mean, from dropping the ball to running without it, or it kind of gave me the vibes of the what's it called, the T-bone one where who was it? Tyler, who just wasn't picking up the ball.
Tyler and Adam, they both fucked it
Yeah,
up.
yeah. Adam and CT, yeah, that's what it kind of gave me the vibes of from Rivals 1. But God, it was a pillow fight that Challenger wrote, which, I mean, I thought the initial contact was really good. And then it just, I think that contact, as soon as Amber M got hit like that, she's like, I don't want to feel that ever again. And she kind of just, tried to survive,
So,
what'd you think?
question for you two. Did you realize that Amber B was as big as she is? I mean, once they suited up, it was a no-brainer. Amber B's going to run over her. But if you would have asked me before they suited up who was going to win, I would have said it's a toss-up. But once they got suited up, I was like, this is no-brainer. Am I crazy in thinking this is the first time we really saw that Amber is like that?
I noticed the exact same thing about Amber B.
I mean, honestly, my question to you guys would be, and I know we've done a lot of who would have won this type of matchup.
Who's the bad guy?
Amber M versus Big T in this challenge, in this elimination. Who wins?
I don't think Big T's beating anyone in a physical elimination. Period.
I think
maybe. You think Big T would win?
I mean, Amber M, she's so soft.
I think Big T genuinely weighs like 75 pounds.
And Big Amber M's what, 85? Like, come on.
That's what I'm saying. It's got 10 pounds on it.
I don't know.
Chat. Who do you guys
question.
Think? Big T or Amber M? We got one vote for Big T right now.
It's close. I mean, you could do that 10 times.
Oh, come on.
I don't know.
And get two different winners.
What? All right, so elimination happens, kind of a shit show, like we all expected. Amber M loses and Amber B wins.
Question for you guys, and definitely the chat, looking at you, Boogie Brown. I feel like there has to be at least one other time in terms of eliminations where two people with the same name are going against each other. We had Amber and Amber tonight. I was thinking
maybe Nicole
has Bananas win against Little Johnny Riley and like one of the exiled.
But people forget who actually made it up the mountain first in free agents.
It was Bananas, right?
No, Little Johnny, baby. I think he has a kid on the way.
A little girl.
Little Chiquita.
Oh, come on. All right. Where are we?
I mean, that was the elimination. And then one of my favorite moments of the episode, and maybe we'll get into this in terms of MVP, LVP, was just when TJ was asking Amber B what she wants to do, does she want to stay or never, at whatever. And she cut TJ off and said, I'm sticking with Darrell. Like, he's been my guy the whole time. And like, I love that because it was respect for the OGs. And just the fact that she didn't even let TJ finish, like that was a ballsy move. Like, I mean, in Darrell, like we've talked about past couple episodes, he really hasn't done much. He's skated by the whole season, really. But she still had enough respect for him to be like, this guy's a vet. He's a champ. I trust him. I know what he's doing. And I have a skull now, so I really don't have much to lose. So I'll trust being on his team. Mm-hmm. And then that leads to Corey being a rogue agent.
Again. I mean, is Corey going to see an elimination? Yes? No?
I don't know. It's a great question.
God. Avery
The problem is that would take him winning a challenge, and he's going to be a rogue agent for half the damn challenges.
and he's out next to elimination, which is a guy's elimination.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think I'm actually very curious to see how the next episode is going to go, because I think going into tonight, we knew that it was probably going to be a girls, and we knew that there was plenty, well, I guess 2 girls' skulls still available. Whereas when we start next Wednesday, we're going to assume it's going to be a guy's day, and all 5 skulls are taken. So I just think it's going to be, and we saw with the security breach and all that, like, I think next week is going to tell us a lot about how the next few episodes are going to go.
Absolutely.
Question for you two, and I don't think we touched on it as much as we should have, but if we did at all. But in terms of the small twist of the balls, what were your thoughts on the twist itself? Like, do you think it helped Hall Brawl, or would you have rather seen Hall Brawl best of 3 ring the bell like we normally see?
Best of 3. Because why?
I think I agree.
Why? Especially example for tonight was after you get hit once, you don't want to get hit. You force them to get hit again. And
Alex?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the whole like carrying balls back to your station or whatever, that's good in an elimination like the T-Bone one that we already mentioned, especially when it's like partners and there's like 5 of them. So you really focus less on hitting each other, which makes it a completely different elimination. Whereas this one, the point of it is to get physical, run in a hallway against another person, and then throwing the balls in there just kind of takes away from that for no purpose.
Agreed. And you could tell by they kind of made it. I think now that we're going to start repeating eliminations, they're going to start adding the little twists. Like when they did the one where you have the rope and you like have to hoist yourself, like that Leroy one recently, and they just extended it another length. I think we're going to see little tweaks like that, but I do agree. It took away from it. And was it Wes against Big Easy maybe, where he tried different strategies on different rounds? You can't do that here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's the same
Once
thing.
you get down, it's kind of over.
yeah.
Yeah.
Another question for you guys. So what were your thoughts? So we talked about Amber B obviously winning, dominating, and sticking with Darrell as her partner. So you guys, we talked about the fact that is like a very like loyal, committed move. I didn't think that was the right move. So there can be a difference between like, I understand, I respect it, like she's sticking with him, but do you guys think it was the right move?
I mean, the right move for me would have been to go if you don't want to go into an elimination again, to grab someone else with the skull.
Exactly. And that's why you missed it.
But I think Darrell has done a good enough job to keep her out now. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like with one more girl, I feel like the girls are kind of like pretty even except Cam. I think Cam is by far the best. And then everything else after that with skulls are pretty like evenly spread out. I guess Casey, you got to put respect on Casey's name too. But everything else, I feel like,
respect on her name.
Yeah. I just feel like it's so open. Like if this was between Nani and Amber B, I feel like it's a really close matchup. I probably would give the edge to Amber B, but it's a lot closer.
Alex, what do you got? Well, yeah.
No, I agree. I think, like you said, I think you can respect what she did staying with Darrell and also think that it's not necessarily the best move. Because, I mean, if you're her, why not go with somebody with the skull and maybe somebody like Kyle, who is a good enough competitor where he's not going to be, like somebody like Fessy, like has a big target on his back still. He might still go in at some point. And somebody as bad as Josh, like he's going to go in just to get a good opportunity for somebody else to get their skull. And so just being tied to someone on either end of that spectrum might be a bad decision. But going with someone like Kyle or Leroy, I think would be a safe pick. But Yeah, I mean, and I don't know. I mean, good for her for respecting Darrell and all that, but I don't know if it was necessarily the smartest pick.
Yeah.
I agree. And here's my final thoughts on that too. I mean, we saw this episode firsthand. What happens if you have a power couple with one person that has a skull and one that doesn't? There's a huge conflict of interest there, and like that's not good for a team. And we saw that today, and that's why I think the idea of Kyle and Leroy would have been great because it's also not like they could just push her out eventually. Like if she partners up with Leroy, nothing's gonna change unless someone wins and steals him or vice versa.
That's actually really smart. If she would have gone with Leroy.
Yeah, or Kyle. I think both of them would have been great options.
Yeah.
Because they're not gonna get voted. She would have punched her ticket to the finals, in my mind.
If she would have picked Leroy, I think she would have.
And here's the thing, and obviously we haven't seen double elimination, or we haven't seen obviously we've seen all right, guys, you got to get ready because the girls are going in. We haven't seen like a full-on twist like that yet, but if Darrell wants to go get his skull, which he obviously will, Amber B could get fucked, and that is totally on her.
You think Darrell would leave her?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if Darrell's thinking it's going to be a guy's day and he gets them down into the elimination and then it's a double elimination, that's on Amber.
Mm-hmm. No, I follow. That challenger writes double next week. No chance. There's no chance.
I think we have to have one at some point.
Security breach.
I think if we're ever going to have a double, the numbers have to be aligned. And they're not. So
that's exactly why I think we could have one beforehand.
I don't know. I just don't see it. I think I'm still on that stupid
Trev, there's 9 episodes to go still.
I know.
Even if they did one where the numbers didn't add up, it would make sense because they can throw. You don't want to save all your curveballs for the 9th inning. You want to throw one in there in the 6th and have them being on their toes.
I mean, if they're not hitting it, you might as well.
They are hitting it, though. That's the thing. Every time. If they think it's a guy's elimination, it's a guy's. If they think it's a girl's, it's a girl's. That has stayed very true throughout the whole season. Security breach.
God, no chance. Tim Wakefield coming in. Going back to earlier, do you think as a partner for Gabby is Fezzi or Devin? Are you going to say, or are you just going to say,
Yeah. I think you got to say Fezzi. He's got the numbers. He's got the physical mentality. I like how Devin's kind of earned her trust and all that good stuff, but
Yeah. Security breach, Ashley's back. I mean, at this point, who knows? Alex, are we ready for some segments?
I think we're ready for some segments. Closing thoughts. I think the episode was solid. We recapped all of it and much more. Episode was solid. I think we, just expect the same quality next week.
You good?
What's going on over there?
4 roses tasted like 5.
All right. So we got a few segments. First one tonight is this day in challenge history. The first one I got is not a trivia question. I looked this one up and I just wanted to share it with you guys in the chat. So the first one, Battle of the Bloodlines. This was the finale. So Cara and Jamie win and all that. But what I wanted to share with you guys is on this day, February 17th, was also not just the finale of Bloodlines, but it was the reunion And I want to read to you. So Wikipedia has the list of people who were on the reunion, and I want to read the list to you guys. And we've talked about how shitty this season was. Imagine watching a reunion with the list of people I'm about to read.
Oh, God.
So the Bloodlines reunion, here were the people who were on it. Cara, Jamie, Jenna, Brianna, Bananas, Vince, Corey, Mitch, Anissa, Rihanna, Nani, Nicole, Abram, and Kellyanne.
I ain't mad at that reunion list.
It's terrible.
Is it?
I mean, Andy, who's running the show? Mitch? Mitch and Corey?
No, JB, obviously.
God.
I kind of like that list. Call me crazy.
This list is terrible.
Trev, what do you think?
What, about the list?
No, yes.
God, the list is just out of control. I mean, I'm telling you right now, that might be the worst challenge season of all time.
Oh, it's terrible. And
I
usually
There should be no question about that. Can we all agree? It is the worst challenge season ever. Right?
Yes, has to be. 50 Faces Nicole, you mean? Yes.
yes.
Absolutely.
Well, at least
what?
Yeah.
I was just going to say, what other questions you got for us?
Well, I have one more. I was just gonna say though that the fact that this is the finale and the reunion and all that, this is gonna be the last time that, at least for this season, that we revisit this day in challenge history for Bloodlines.
Wow.
Thank God.
Time.
All right. So the next one for this day in challenge history is going to be Battle of the X's 2. The challenge on this day was the trivia challenge. Who won it? X's 2.
I'm going to go with Jordan and Sarah.
That was going to be my guess. But I don't think they did. I thought it was a weird team. I thought it was like Zach and Jonay.
It was a weird team.
It wasn't Zach?
No. Like less likely, like dumber people.
Was Jimmy?
Jay and Jenna? Ryan McCord?
Jay and Jenna.
Wow.
This was the classic.
Ryan McCord beating Boogie. Well done.
This is the classic cousin. I'll just skip the rest of the trivia because this was when Jay and Jenna won and they voted Leroy and Naya in, and Leroy was pissed. I mean, rightfully so. And this we'll get into next week or so, but yes, Jay and Jenna episode 7 won the trivia challenge.
Sorry, I'm just reading some of these comments, and I have to admit, the chat has been popping tonight. Jesse Adams has been on fire. Ryan McCord's been on fire. I mean, Mikey the Doctor, the usual goats, back at it again. Boogie. Sorry, just had to get that off.
What else? What else is new?
Oh, God. All right, what else we got?
Right, what segment's next?
MVP, LVP?
Well, we got the classic segment, Who's Corey's Partner?
God.
And I think tonight is Rogue.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So that was Who's Corey's Partner.
And guess what? Next week, we're going to have a different answer.
Well, we're bringing it back next week.
God. God.
Trev, anything else you want to bring up before MVP, LVP of the episode?
No, I'm all set. Let's dive right in. MVP, LVP. You guys in the comments, you know what to do. Give us the order. And while you guys write down the order, let's guess who Corey's next partner is. So this would be assuming it would be a guy's elimination.
Right.
Probably.
I'm trying to think of the guys that you would rule out of going home.
I would only rule Leroy out.
I would rule Leroy, maybe Fessy. Right. All right. So do we have an order now?
God, are we going to answer the prediction first? What do we think? We think, God, a lot of things all over the places. I saw Andy first.
Okay.
I think Andy should go first, Alex go second, and I'll go last.
Okay. Fair enough. Snake draft.
Okay.
And then as we're giving our picks, you guys give your picks.
I don't know, actually. A lot of people are saying me second now. So so how about this? Andy, Trev, Alex. We'll do that. Andy, take it away.
Okay. My MVP was actually very easy. It's going to be Devin.
Oh.
The challenge was stacked against him in terms of like they had the whole like you can tell people where your like pieces are. Josh buried his piece. Oh, he's not going to find this. Obviously found it, outsmarted him, uphill battle, won it. I think he played his partner incredibly well too. I was a little skeptical on the whole Amber and Darrell pick, but I think Devin was super entertaining. I think he had a very good performance, and I think he's got a very good foundation to build on. So my MVP is Devin, and I don't know if I ever would have given Devin MVP previously before this season, but man, he's growing on me.
My MVP tonight, I kind of hinted at it a few times tonight throughout the pod, but I think there's definitely only one MVP tonight, and it's got to be the chat. The chat has been popping. Everybody's been just unbelievable tonight. So I'm glad, after last week's shit show, we're just officially back. So I gotta go to the chat. Alex, who you got MVP?
If you would have not gone the chat, I definitely would have gone there. When we re-listened to this pod, the first 10 minutes of it, I feel like our vibes were off the chart because of what we saw going on in the chat. Chat MVP is a great pick. My MVP pick for tonight, I'm going to go Amber B.
Ooh.
I'm going to go Amber B getting her skull. And I think what really kind of stuck it for me was her little thing about Darrell cutting off TJ. I just was really a fan of that. Paying respect to the veterans and all that. So that was part of it. And then getting her gold skull was part of it. Obviously, she didn't beat the strongest competition. But just the fact that she got her skull when now there's only one left. And TJ kind of drove this home, like, especially with Gabby basically saying no to this one. Like, there's still – how many girls do we have now? Gabby, Nani, Lolo, maybe
who don't have skulls.
Who don't have skulls.
I think that's it.
I think that is it. I think there's 3 and then four of them. I think there's one more girl. Gabby, Lolo, Nani, and one other girl maybe. I don't know.
I think that's it.
There was 9 girls before tonight. Amber went home, so there's 8. 4 girls have skulls. So who's the 4th one? We need the chat in here quick. Isn't there one more?
Then what?
Nani, Gabby,
Casey.
No, Casey has it. Casey has it.
Nani,
yeah.
Gabby,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Lolo.
Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought there was one more.
Big T.
Oh,
Big T. We're doing radar watch. Big T gets it for that reason.
Ooh.
So anyway, I would say MVP Amber B, just because the skulls are running down very quickly. Who knows what's going to happen? She won the challenge last week. I mean, all these guesses. She won the challenge last week, won the elimination this week. So I'm going Amber B MVP.
Wow.
Good pick. Let me ask you guys this. Was that one of the more dominating elimination rounds that you've seen in a while? Because it's been definitely one of the more dominating ones I've seen. It was done. It was done in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I was very impressed with Amber B.
It reminded me of, I forget who was actually in it. It was Laurel versus somebody in like one of the where you throw, was it, who was it?
Jasmine?
Simone? Devin? It was who? Jasmine, sorry. Where Jasmine had no shot at that. So classic mix up. I don't know.
Okay. All right, LVP, Alex, what you got?
All right, my LVP, I'm gonna go elimination twist. And I know that Trevor recently went with repeated eliminations. It's pretty similar, but basically what I'm saying is the LVP is the fact that they did this little 3 balls. The 3 balls twist in the hall brawl kind of ruined it. You know, we talked about this earlier. It makes the product a little worse. So I'm going, and we've seen it. They've done it before for a couple eliminations, and we assume that it's going to keep happening. So my LVP is going to be elimination twist.
I like that pick.
I might have to give the LVP to Alex for repeating my pick.
No, it was different. It was not your pick.
I know. So I was 100% going to go Gabby. But after reading some captions and stuff in the chat, I think I got to do if I'm giving the MVP to the chat, I got to do its favor by giving the LVP to Fezzi tonight because of his game. I mean, what's worse, his football game or his flirt game? I mean, come on. It's so classic. His ego's horrible. I hope he goes home eventually. But yeah, that's my LVP tonight.
Good pick there, Trev. Good pick. I mean, you guys left me with plenty to pick from for LVP. And I do have some honorable mentions I want to run by you. But I think this was my first choice for LVP, and I still have the option to take it. I'm going Lolo. She's a loony.
Good
I mean, you couldn't tell if she was talking about not getting along with Nam on a challenger perspective or on a boyfriend perspective. Like, she was just all over the place. She's losing it. She is cracking right now for the challenge. And she does this whole speech that she thought was going to get people to vote for her. If 12 people voted for that challenger, says spot on, Lola belongs on 90 Day Fiance. I say it every week. We need people on the challenge who want to be on the challenge. I mean, I don't care if that's Fresh Meat 3 or not. But I want people who want to be in this for all of it. All of it. For all the drama, for all of the mental aspect. That's what we need, and Lolo's not it. She's an Olympian. Good for her. There's a reason she's the only Olympian that's been on the challenge, and I can almost guarantee you she's going to be the last one. She's my LVP.
Absolutely.
Can I kick us off with a couple honorable mentions?
Blow us.
I'm going to do a little rapid fire. All of mine are LVPs. Gabby, obviously, right? I mean, we all know that. She should have sent herself down. She, took a backseat to Devin. Josh, I think we can all agree he's always on LVP watch any given week. And his whole antics and everything tonight were just terrible.
Andy, before you next honorable mention, should we just eliminate Josh from any LVPs for the rest of the year? Because we could literally just give him every single time. And I think we could literally do it every single episode and make a valid argument.
I think the fact that there's 3 of us, though, we got to keep them on the table.
Okay, that's fine.
Great question, though. Great, because you're not wrong.
Okay.
I've got a kind of tandem last honorable mention. CT and Darrell. This goes back to last week for me. Corey was very adamant that he wanted the House vote. Where are Darrell and CT being overly vocal about that? Now, granted, Darrell did get voted in by Devin, but I'm sick and tired of people skating by. You've got 2 of the all-time challenge greats, and neither of them have been vocal about, I want to go in and earn my skull. Is that incorrect?
No, you're right. But what are you sick and tired of?
People skating by.
People skating by.
Exactly.
I agree.
That's all my honorable mentions.
Honorable mention MVP Nam for putting up with Lolo this long. That's pretty good. Anything else, Alex? You got any honorable mentions?
No, I don't have any honorable mentions. I would say 2 just before we kind of wrap this the pod up. I would say two stir the pot housekeeping things. One, we may or may not be doing another off the Wednesday schedule sort of podcast episode. If we do and we go live, we'll tweet it out, several times to let you guys know if you guys want to come join the chat and whatnot. And we won't. That won't just be this weekend, especially in the challenge off season, so to speak. When we do that, we'll give plenty of notice. But also, as it relates to MVP and LVP, I recently kind of went back into some of our old picks for MVP and LVP, and I marked down what the official leaderboard, basically between the 3 of us, Adam, whoever else we've had on the show. From I think first from the the BMFE days, Ryan McCord will know that, and way back then you would think. Basically, what I have and what I'm getting to is we have a long list of all of the MVP and LVP picks that we have, and I think it would be fun maybe on an episode recap or separate, whatever we want to hear from the chat, obviously, would be just kind of a deep dive into that list, and just looking at it and seeing who's on the top, who are some of our more obscure and funny picks over the years, over the 5-6 seasons we've done this. Who have we given MVP and LVP to the most? Who are some of the most wild picks? I think that would be one of the more electric segments we could have. And I don't think we could do that segment several times. I mean, it would just be looking at the list that we have, seeing who we've given the awards to, but I think that would be great.
Yeah. I mean, some of those picks are just ridiculous. I remember Alex sent us the list a few days ago, and I mean, there's some classic ones, and Josh has to lead the LVP in his 4 seasons. Let me tell you, you'd be surprised on where some people are. So
I have seen the list. I think it warrants its own separate pod because we could go on for a while, and I think we should because it is electric. And you guys talk about Josh and Devin, Nelly. You might have the wrong first letter of the MVPs there, but it is just electric in terms of what we have on that list. I think it'd be warranted to do its own separate little pod. And Jesse Adams, I'm always taking the over on anything. 1.5 prize for Lolo. That's a no-brainer. It's just a matter of if she's around for 3 more episodes, I'm taking the over. So pin me in on the over.
Yeah, we'll talk about it and see what we want to do. But yeah, we might just wait until if we did it between seasons so that, the MVP, LVP votes are kind of stopping, and so that we can kind of calculate them all, we might do that in a challenge off season and just kind of do a podcast solely on that, because I don't want to give too much away. But yeah, if you guys could see the full list that we've had for a few seasons now, it's just absurd.
Yeah, and one other thing with off season coming around, believe it or not, 9 weeks. I mean, I know we're at the halfway mark, but we are looking ahead a little bit. I think we are going to run it back with some more Mount Rushmores. So those are entirely different full pods. So we would love for you guys to shoot us ideas on what you want to hear. I mean, it can be stuff from, I'm trying to think of what we've done, best eliminations, best elimination rounds. I mean, we're all over the place. Literally why we love the challenge, whatever you can give us. Mikey Doctor, we getting a Fresh Meat 3 fantasy cast video from Andy. I mean, who knows? I mean, we're literally open to anything, whatever you guys want to see. We're completely down for whatever. So hit us up, whatever you want, DM us, tweet us, whatever.
Yeah. In that challenger, I saw a question about the best teams March Madness bracket that we're going to do. We are still 100% doing that. That's going to be a segment during Double Agents. That's going to be a segment during Double Agents that we have very, very soon. And what I mentioned earlier is we might have some sort of selection show special that's not part of the Wednesday recaps. But aside from that, the debating of the best teams and all that, we'll get into that.
So
that's still coming 100%.
And let me go this route with you two. We have, over the past years, ever since it goes back to the BMFE days, we always try to give the people what they want. And right now, the challenge or the live chat is, I think we can say, has been electric. Whatever you guys want to see, whether it's either segments of Mount Rushmores or the March Madness, I think you guys are going to love the bracket that we do. That is good. That's the first time we've done anything like it. It could go off the rails. But whatever other things you want to see from us, let us know, because we want to give you guys what you want to hear. And we've been watching the challenge for years. Nani made a reference this episode. I've been doing this for 10 years and I don't have elimination. Well, guess what, Nani? I've been watching this for 15 and I don't have a challenge final win either. This is on me. You think you've been doing this for 10 years? I've been doing this for 15. Good for us. We want to give you guys what you want. So any ideas that you have, let us know. Tweet at us. Follow us on Twitter. We want to give you guys the best challenge content that we can.
Yeah, and I think most of that you guys have plenty of time to think of, just because we have 9 more episodes and everything. But like we mentioned a couple times, once the season ends, especially because we have this engagement with the live chat and everything, once the season ends and we're kind of in the the dreaded challenge off season, we want to keep doing, and once a week, once every couple weeks, whatever it is, challenge or stir the pod episodes on whatever it is. So I think that's what you're saying in terms of, we want to hear at that point what you guys want to talk about, and maybe we'll have some of you on the pod, but you have time to think about what your ideas are. We have some ideas, but let us know. And as always, at Stir the Pod on Twitter, DM us. DMs are open.
Oh, come on. All right. With that being said, thank you guys for a wonderful, wonderful Stir the Pod recap show. I've been your host, Trevor. You can follow us on Twitter at Stir the Pod. Shout out Duffy. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Love you guys.
Love you guys.